Hi, this is Niba here. Today we'll see in this video we'll see a simple example of bubble sort algorithm. So how this bubble sort is implemented in C++. So already in the previous video we have seen how the algorithm works. That is all the steps we have seen. So the algorithm, we know that algorithm works like this. If you have some 5 elements like 5, 6, say 5, 6, 1, 4, 3. So this is sorting means it is nothing but the arranging in ascending or descending order. Here we prefer just to arrange in the ascending order. So here we have 5 elements. So all the 5 elements we need to arrange in the ascending order. The algorithm follows like this. It's first check the first element with the next consecutive element. And if the first element is greater than the second element, it swaps. So in this case 5 is less than 6, so it does not swap. And then it compares the next element, that is 6, with the third element, that is 1. So here it 6 is greater than 1, so it swap. 1 comes to the second position and 6 comes to the third position. Then it checks the third element with the fourth element, and finally it checks the fourth element with the fifth element. This is called as one pass. So in one pass there may be maximum 4 swaps. So we can count the swap also. Then comes the second pass where it compares again the first with the second element. So if there is a need for swap, it swap, otherwise it remains as such. So this is what the bubble sort works. You can refer to my previous video for more idea on this sorting algorithm. So now we'll see a simple example program using C++. So I'm taking the class here. So class name is bubble sort, and here just we all know that the class we are just have implemented this using classes and objects. So we all know that in a class we have two important elements. One is the private, that is the data variables, and the other is the member functions. Here we are not declaring the data variables as private. So we have, by default it can be declared like this as public. So I have declared an array of 100 size maximum and n. So just we are writing 3 functions. One function is used to get the data from the user, and the other function is to implement the logic of bubble sort, and the third function is used to display the display the sorted list. So first one to get data. So get data means first we have to ask from the user how many elements are there in the array. So the user will enter the elements, say 5 or 6 up to 100 he can enter, because we have given the maximum size to be 100. Next, it will ask from the user to enter the elements. So the user has to enter the elements one by one, because so it is an array of elements. So we have to get the elements in a for loop. So to get the elements in an array, we have to use for loop. So just we are using a for loop and we are getting the elements. Next we can implement the algorithm for bubble sort. So we'll come to the for loop. So there is a nested for loop here. So first we'll come to the inner for loop. So up to this. So we all know that, so if there are 5 elements, so the number of element is 5, n. We can take it as n, and the number of pass we can take it as k. So for the first pass it has n minus k comparisons. That is 5 minus 1 is 4 comparisons. So for the first pass we are implementing a for loop. So in the for loop, so we are just checking whether the first element is greater than the next element. If that is the case, we know that we have to swap both elements. So for swapping, we have to go for another temporary variable. This we have studied in the C language also. So how to swap two numbers. So using a temporary variable, we are storing the first number to a temporary variable. Then we are storing the second number to the first, and then we are swapping it. Then the swap, we are just giving a counter for swap. Here we have used a new variable temp. So we have to declare it in temp. And also we are using a counter for counting the swap. So the counter should be initialized. So we are just declaring the swap equal to 0 here. So the counter, when the swap becomes 1, the counter becomes 1. And this is for the inside for loop, first pass. then it has to go to the next pass. Normally, in a bubble sort, if there are 5 elements, maximum n minus 1 passes will be there. 4 passes will be there. Sometimes, if the list is already in sorted order, so we can get out of the sort, that is swapping list. So it is this outer for loop is for the passes. So it increment the pass and the swapping goes on. Sometimes if there is no swap, or the swap count is 0, so it breaks out of the enter for loop. So the pass abrupts. So that is the case. So how the bubble sort works, and the list is sorted. Next we will write another function for displaying the data. So for displaying the data also we have to display in the array. So for that we are again using a for loop. So these are the 3 functions in the class. Next we will move on to the main function. So we are writing using classes and objects. So it's a must to create object, and we have to access the functions using objects. So bubble sort is the class name. For this class we have to create an object, that is b1. Then we are just accessing b1 dot get data, the first function. Then b1 dot bub sort, that is the logic for doing bubble sort. Then we have to display the sorted element. For that we are accessing put data. So all this we are accessing using the object. Now we will execute this program. So once if we compile this program, it's asking to enter the number of elements in the array. So we'll enter some 5 elements, and it is asking to the user to enter the number of elements. So we'll use 67, 45, 89, 21, 10. So all the 5 elements have been entered, and you are getting the list in the sorted order. So it is sorted 10, 21, 45, 67, 89. If suppose, so in the list coming to the logic, if suppose, so the number of elements we are just taking it as n. Here we are taking I equal to 0, I less than n. N is the number of elements. 5 element means we are just giving the pass for up to 5. Up to 5 we have to compare. Here also we are just giving n. So now if we execute the program, the program compiles. So it asks the number of elements. Here again I am entering 4 elements in the list. So it asks to user to enter the elements. So it's 21, 1, 56, 2. So 1, 2, 21, 56. So it's entering, so it's giving the elements in the list. So this you can do the sorting algorithm, that is sorting algorithm. This is bubble sort. So it is very simple sorting algorithm when compared to all the sorting algorithms. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.